Alrighty, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, yeah. Yo, bro. Yo. Those new commander decks? Oh, all this? Nah, this is just my cube. Wanna take a look? Sure. What is this? Different colored sleeves? Come on, sit down. It'll all make sense. Hang on, I didn't sign up for this. Just tell me what the deal with the sleeves are. Don't worry about it, okay? Don't worry about it. Let's just draft. But just draft. Okay. Alrighty, let's see the deck you made. Hold up, we still got packs 2 and 3. You're many things, my guy, but you're not slick. Nope, that was it. There's only one pack. You're joking. This is not enough cards for a deck. Yes, it is. I think it's about time I explained everything. Yo, yo, yo! What is going on, fellow tabletop gamers? I'm Respectivus, and this is the first edition of Trinket Visionary, the series where I tinker with some wacky, hopefully inspiring, Magic the Gathering formats. I also want to lay the groundwork for you, the viewer, to make your own versions of these projects, so it's not just me yapping away at how cool I am. That said, you clicked on this video to figure out what Pauper tier cube is, so let's dive into it. So, what is Pauper tier cube? Well, for any of you long-term MTG enthusiasts, you probably recognize the terms Pauper and Cube, which together make a format of common or Pauper legal cards curated in a custom draft environment, or a cube. I personally have never drafted a Pauper cube, maybe because what I'm about to show you is just better. So with a name like Pauper tier cube, what does the term tier mean? Well, that, my friend, is where things get interesting. The cube is divided into 3 parts, or tiers. We have bronze, silver, and gold. Each player receives 1 pack of 20 cards. 5 bronze, 10 silver, and 5 gold. Each bronze card you draft represents up to 3 copies of that card in your deck. Silver represents 2, and gold 1. Once the draft is finished, players fill out their card slots by taking copies from a shared pool. To keep the draft balanced, the power level of each tier is inverted, with gold cards being the most powerful, silvers in the middle of the road, and bronzes being the least impactful. Be warned, the gold cards are enticingly powerful, but they are the least likely to show up during your games. It is for this reason that the essence of this cube draft actually lies in the bronze cards. This is because even though the bronze cards are the least impactful individually, together they are a defining force for your deck, oftentimes outlining the very strategy you'll be employing, from graveyard to spellslinger, from artifacts to heroic, from lands to morphs. Next up we have the silvers. These are generally more well-rounded, but they're still strategy-aligning cards. The creatures tend to be stronger and the spells more flashy. Here you'll find counterspells, tribe enablers, buff effects, and a whole slew of things. Some strategies are only supported through these cards due to their relative strength. Believe me, if I could support a strategy through the bronze tier, I would. And finally, we have the golds. These are the most solid and powerful cards you'll see in this cube. A few will be loosely tied into a strategy, but for the most part, these cards will help out any deck. While drafting, there really isn't a right way to decide which tier to pick from. You could start by drafting solid gold cards and wait for the ideal strategy to pop up. Or, you could dive into various themes from the get-go and see which of your bronze cards stick. Or, I don't know, something in between. However, variety is essential. Each tier serves a different purpose, from defining the strategy you'll be playing, to delivering some haymakers, to making sure you legitimately have enough cards in your deck. Ideally, you're able to check every one of those boxes. Now, every cube is different. For all I know, you could be building a modern or legacy version of this cube. However, no matter which set of cards you restrict yourself to, there's something unique about this tier structure that allows for a greater variety of viable strategies. Take Morphs for example, or Mill, Infect, Cat Tribal, you name it. If there's a strategy that you feel has been underserved in the cubes you've drafted, you can make them work here. To make it easier to draft, all you do is set the key cards for that strategy at the lower tiers, and make the other, more well-rounded cards less easy to draft by setting them at the higher tiers. You can think of bronze cards as their own mini strategies to build around, almost like commanders. In case you're curious about the various strategies that are in my cube, here is a quick list. If you want to know more, I go into much greater detail on my website, link is in the description. Now, some abstract explanations are always useful, sure, but they don't really let us know how it feels to draft the cube. But lucky us, I have some draft footage saved up just for that purpose. Let's take a look. Here's a 4-person draft that I filmed a little while ago. After checking through the pack, I tend to settle on a bronze card just to make the thinking for the rest of the draft easier. This time it was a Barrow Ghoul, a 2-mana 4/4 which I knew could carry the game on its own. Maybe a little too effectively. The pack gods gave me their blessing with a copy of Circle of the Land Druid, which turns on Barrow Ghoul on its own. And from there, it was smooth sailing. I took a Nizis Chosen to guarantee never milling out, Vengeful Dead seeing as I had some zombies already, some more stuff. Eventually I got my hands on a sweet lands package including Circle of the Land Druid, Tranquil Thicket, Haunted Fengraf, and Stoic Builder. Yeah, I got everything I wanted, jeez. And I came home with an easy 3-0, prompting a bunch of nerfs. You test and you learn. Overall, the ideas that I've shared with you thus far are just that, ideas. What's important is to take this cube concept and make it your own. Heck, I don't know, maybe change up the number of cards you get in each tier, or change up the number of packs each player gets. Make it a modern cube, if you have $1,000 extra lying around. You could also say, hey Respectivist, that's all fine and dandy, but take a look at that footage. You can see exactly what tiers your opponents are drafting. Isn't that a little unprofessional? You know what? That's a good idea. Which is why it must have arrived. Alrighty, let's get to it. Ooh, let's get a good close-up of that. You see in this? Yeah, we got in focus. Yeah, so I have the 3 bronze indicators, like 1 bronze equals 3, 1 silver equals 2, 1 gold equals 1. Now if you're sitting there and wondering, hey Respectivist, where'd you get such nice looking sleeves? Well, I gotta tell you, I made them myself. And in case you're wondering how we're going to be able to tell what tier one of these cards is, well, I have a whole bunch of these that I'm going to be cutting out. And yeah, we'll see how that looks in... And voila! There it is. A blood-mad vampire, and we know that it is bronze. So take a minute to look at that useless pile of rubbish you call a collection, and make your own Pauper tier cube. It'll be a wild ride, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. Hold up, I just got one last thing to say. Mad respect, and subscribe.